Which is good to you.
Yes.
Because it's so cold. Okay, I should be like this, otherwise I'm disturbing. We have this DJ handling the music. You arrived here by a ferry boat. Is it a usual way of traveling to you, or do you always fly?
It's just what ends up in the itinerary, and we just follow the instructions.
I guess Finland it's the best way to come to Finland by ferry boat, because you can see all the islands.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah, seeing all those islands.
But still, it's not so warm here now.
No. Do people use those little cabins all year round, or just in the summer?
Yes, that's true. We have all the summer cottages, and they are only for summer. Because people are fleeing from these kinds of cities.
Yeah.
So
it was a very nice. It was a very nice ferry ride, and it was a beautiful day. It didn't seem like it was too well. It was kind of cold on the deck, but those little cottages and all, it was a wonderful scene. Yeah. Is there other ways to get here besides flying and the ferry?
No, because it's the sea.
In a word.
You can't drive here.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with most of the concerts, because it takes time. Most of the stars won't come here from Stockholm, because it takes 1, 2, or 3 days to come here.
Yeah.
But I guess you like publicity, because you are going to give some autographs in a record shop. You like
it's
doing
not every
that.
day. It's not every day you get to Helsinki, and there are still fans up here that love the kind of thing that we do. So, you know, it's always a good idea to do everything we can.
Because I guess you are the first concert star here this year, giving autographs. Nobody does that anymore. Why is that? I mean, why do you think it's so?
I don't know.
Well, it takes time, and it takes a lot of patience. You know, I mean, you might think that it's a fun thing to do or whatever, and it can be, but it does take time, and you know, and logistics and setting it up, and you have to have the audience for it too. And you know, you have to have. I mean, Cher's in town. Can you imagine Cher going to a record store and signing autographs? It's not going to do it.
Was it so that you did it in the States? You did it many times.
Yeah, it's normal for us to do that. Sometimes we will go out for 2 or 3 weeks, and that's all we do every day, maybe twice a day. So yeah, it seems normal for us. So.
That's good. Back to this 3G concert. I guess it was your idea, or so why did you get the idea?
So I could play with more guitar players. That's basically what it was. I felt kind of isolated, touring and making records year after year and never standing on stage with another guitarist. And after brainstorming a while, the idea came up that perhaps we could create our own little micro festival where not only would you'd be on tour with other artists that were centered around guitar playing, whether or not it's instrumental really didn't matter, but also we'd make sure that at the end of the night all the players would get together for a jam. And it was really just so I could jam with people every night. And it just turned out to be a winning formula.
Was it easy for you to join this group?
Well, let me see. I had to check my schedule to make sure that my sock drawer didn't need to be arranged. But of course, it's a fantasy for someone like myself. For all the same reasons.
Because you two have known each other for quite a long time.
Since I was 13.
You were living next door to him, or you were living quite near to
Yeah,
each other?
same, very little town in New York on Long Island. And Joe was, just a couple of years older than me, but he could really play the guitar, even when we were kids, even when he was 15. And I had, just started. Matter of fact, I went to his house with a pack of strings and a guitar, and I didn't even know how to string it. And I took lessons on and off for about 3 years. And it was really an unbelievable experience for someone like myself, so young, to actually see and learn from somebody that could really play the same kind of music that I loved.
So that's why it was quite easy for you to say yes when he asked.
Well, yes. I mean, you have to have, to really learn from somebody, you have to have respect for that person. I've had a lot of teachers. I took lessons from jazz players and whatever, but, when you really respect somebody, you're more interested and concerned in what they're teaching you, and you want to do a better job to, impress them or to, satisfy them. So it's always been that way, sort of, through my whole career, and we've always stayed in touch. So when the opportunity for a tour like this came up, it seemed that all the puzzle pieces came into place.
The third member it's not the same. It was Malmsteen here, and now it's another guy.
Mm-hmm.
So the third member is changing.
Yeah, actually, I mean, theoretically, all the members should change each time, and Steve has done every one that we've done except for one tour, So, but I suppose if we can keep the G3 concert series going long enough, we'll see a lot of different permutations hit the stage. Maybe for 1 year it'll be very blues oriented, maybe very avant-garde, and next year maybe back to a little bit more metal, like when it was myself, Steve, and Yngve. But the idea is that it would change and that we try to mix it up quite a bit. And I think we've done that a few times. Certainly now with Robert, Steve, and myself, it's actually quite mixed up, which is great, which I think creates the kind of creative tension you need to create memorable performances night after night.
And how would you describe this team? Is it which kind of music oriented is this team?
Well, it's a little bit more instrumental, let's say, than in the past. Certainly when we've had Katie Wayne Shepherd or Eric Johnson, we've had more singing going on. Steve, I know, is singing a bit more. Maybe I'm singing 2 songs, Robert doesn't sing, so maybe it's a little bit more instrumental than in the past. I suppose Robert brings to it a very forward-thinking, unusual compositional approach that I'm not quite sure I know how to categorize it. It's modern guitar playing. It's not roots-oriented guitar playing. And Steve and I are both putting in new material into our set, so I generally don't try to categorize it myself. I find that the journalists and the fans have a better knack for describing what it is that we do. So
it's nice to hear that you're also going to sing, because singing is even if that's not your basic business, I guess it gives some more.
Yeah.
From you. Yeah. So how do you feel like when you're singing?
Well, I think that for the audience, it's a mixed bag. Some people are looking for a break in all the instrumental music, and some people are a little apprehensive to see their guitar hero sing, But for the most part, they've accepted us for, what we are. So if we want to sing a song or whatever, they usually go along with it. And, I enjoy singing when everything is, in place, because, singing introduces a whole new set of rules. When you're on tour and you're a guitar player, you can be tired, you can have a flu, you can have an ache or a pain or something, not get enough sleep and still do, 20 shows in a row, But when you're a singer, it's a whole different story. I understand why some singers are very prima donna-ish on tour, because the bus temperature has to be perfect, or else they're going to wake up with a sore throat and they're not going to be able to be their best. And after 3 shows, they have to have a day off, because it's not like a finger muscle, So, with all that in mind, I've really refrained from making the largest portion of my show a vocal situation, because I don't want to have to worry about those things.
I guess you're quite right, because Cher was going to have her concert tonight in Helsinki. Mm-hmm. She had to cancel it.
Oh, really?
Because of some problems with the voice.
No, it was because we were here. That's why
right.
she canceled it.
Yes, that's true. so
Yankee
aware.
Doodles.
And it was quite a
She's
competition.
actually the guest singer during our jam at the end of the night.
Is she also playing guitar?
Yes, she's
Yeah.
amazing.
Ah.
Yeah.
So it will be third partner in this.
Yeah, but you tell her if she steals my whammy bar one more time, I'm gonna...
She did.
Just kidding.
But you also like small animals, bees. Is it so?
They're insects, actually.
I could call them animals.
Animals, yeah.
Do you still?
Okay.
Yeah, as a matter
I'm
of
not
fact.
happy.
Well, I needed some kind of a hobby where I could be to myself. So I raised little animals.
Or insects. Yeah.
No, actually, it was a result of moving onto a property that was basically vacant for 10 years, and the need to, I wanted to plant fruit trees, and my wife wanted a garden, and we needed to research some pollination, and I discovered that honeybees was the best way to do it. So I did a little research and found bought a swarm, and it's not difficult, and it's actually a fun hobby. You get a lot of sticky, sweet stuff out of it too.
You also donate some money, which you get out of the honey.
Yes, you can go to my webpage, vai.com, and actually buy some honey, and the money goes to a charity.
Do you have that kind of
You have little
hobbies?
animals, Joe?
Some small animals or bigger ones?
My manager tries to keep that out of the press. As much as possible. But
Because his
no.
manager has small animals.
No. I keep a pretty simple, animal-free kind of thing going.
So it's just music, which is...
I raise notes. That's what I do. Cultivate notes. Harmony farm. That's
A
what I have.
harmony farm.
That's perfect. I guess that was all.
Okay.
Thanks for your time.
All right.
You're very welcome.
You're welcome.
Oh, thank you so much indeed. It was a good conversation. If I could ask some signing.
Sure.
I have a pen, yes.
All right.
That will be for Tomi. Be here tomorrow at 8 p.m.
You mean tonight?
Tonight, yeah.
That's
That's gonna be my